Changes could be coming to when you vote on who is your child or grandchild's school board member.
News 4's Spencer Humphrey tells us what's behind a proposed law. Spencer.
Love public school with all my heart.
But State Rep Chris Banning says in recent years he's felt like some members of his local school board haven't been listening to him.
I saw some of the school board votes that were really getting way off community standards.
And by community standards, he means things he feels a community wouldn't want in their schools.
There were some books that some parents thought were inappropriate. A few school board members decided that they were going to vote to keep those books in.
That, he says, spurred him to start doing some research and concluded the current way Oklahomans choose their school boards doesn't lend itself well to getting people who fit his community standards elected. The way things work now, school districts hold school board elections once a year in February or April, depending on the year. School districts cover the cost of holding those elections, and voter turnout is usually pretty low, generally only bringing out people who are super motivated. Banning thinks that leads to candidates who don't fit his idea of community standards getting elected.
We don't need a school board member with a doctorate in education. That's not what we're looking for.
So he's running a bill to change some things. Under his bill, school board elections would only be held every other year on the same day as general elections in November, when people vote for things like governor or president. He says way more people turn out for those elections, so it would help more voters have a say in school board races. Board members would move to 4-year terms, and since school board elections would fall on the same day as the general election, school districts wouldn't have to pay costs to run the election. But his idea faces quite the opposition.
School board elections are nonpartisan elections.
State Senator Mark Mann used to be an Oklahoma City school board member. He argues there's a good reason school board elections are held apart from the general election, and moving them to November would defeat that purpose.
I mean, it's going to turn the races into a partisan race. If you have someone running for school board in an area that's heavily Democrat, they're going to cater to the Democrats, and they're going to say, I'm a Democrat and I'm going to go take care of our kids and I'm going to do this, this, and this. And likewise, if they're in a Republican area, they're going to do that. Whereas right now, that doesn't happen.
State Rep Jacob Rosecrans argues if school board elections are moved to November, voters may not prioritize and research school board races as much as they do right now when they're the only thing on the ballot.
When you put it on another election where there's so many other big, it could be state or federal elections, then I think that people start thinking less about, okay, this is for school board, and more about, okay, this is who I'm going to vote for on president or governor, and then just kind of vote that way down ballot.
As for Banning, he says his main motivator for the bill is the cost savings for school districts who would no longer have to pay to run elections.
And that's what this bill does. It actually repurposes millions of dollars back in the school system while increasing voter turnout.
Now, in addition to Banning's House bill, State Senator Ali Seifrid introduced a similar bill over in the Senate. Now, while not identical, it also proposes moving school board elections to November. In a statement, she told us in part, quote, Oklahoma consistently sees single-digit voter turnout in these elections. Moving school board elections to the general election ballot would significantly increase both voter participation and engagement.